All right, let's talk about a game that isn't GTA 6. What? On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, could pre-orders be closer than we think? Sound the alarm.
Ding, 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 ding.
Another game of Is It Fake? Footages from over 4 years ago, recorded straight from a dev setup during lockdown, and big titles start to move away from GTA 6 release window. Last 4 months of the year are barren. It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to episode 113 of GTA 6 o'clock, the world's most in-depth and best connected GTA 6 show. And we are back in the studio. Thank you for bearing with us last week when we went to audio only for an episode. And apologies that the very end of our in-depth ranking system got cut off on the first upload. We did fix it. So if you missed it, you can go back and check out what we put at number 1. Thank you for all your comments. It does seem, Dan, that maybe fishing and hunting is higher on most people's lists than it was ours. And that our American friends call crazy golf putt-putt golf.
I'm amazed at the first and didn't know the second. Putt-putt golf?
Facts.
Are you crazy golf?
Well,
yeah.
Crazy golf's a better name.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But anyway, I am your host, James JJ Jarvis, and here to analyse and discuss all of the details from the world of Rockstar and GTA 6 is Dan DD Dawkins. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
But wait, Dan. Sound the alarm.
Oh, am I sounding the alarm?
I'm waiting for you to
ring,
sound
ring,
the
ring,
alarm.
ring, ring. That's like the bell more than an alarm.
Yeah, ring the bell.
The bell.
Could have used that from the trailer. Ring the bell.
Yeah, there we go. See, I was subliminally doing it.
There have been reports of a new leak, but don't get too excited. Or do. It depends. Depends which side of the camp you're falling on here. There is currently a little bit of a split in the community on the legitimacy of this leak. But even if you were excited, it is just an image of a bridge. So, take that as you will. This is all about a video that has been posted on a new Instagram account with the username vice.city.alligator. The description with the video says, finally clearing out my phone and found this. Footage is from over 4 years ago, recorded straight from a dev setup during lockdown. Know a bloke who used to work at Rockstar. They sent me this about 2 months before the 2022 leaks happened. Been sat on it for ages, but since they don't work there anymore, figured I'd drop it. To be honest, it literally shows nothing. Just asked them to show me a spot they were proud of working on. Quality is absolute shite though, because they sent it via email, had to compress it. Never thought I'd actually post it because it's a nothing burger. Not replying to DMs. I'm not logging into this account again, so don't bother asking questions. And as we discussed, the footage in question is of a bridge in Vice City over a body of water that has a truck drive across it for about 1 second.
Yes.
And then the camera sort of moves around a lot.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really in it that is like revealing anything. But I would throw this over to you. Based on that description, Dan, do you see any red flags there?
Oh, well. Yes. We've analysed this off air. Now, this is it's a quasi-science here. So let's go through it line by line, right? So finally clearing out my phone and found this. Now, I've cleaned out my phone when it's been a bit full. I've reached the end of my cache, but it's rare I've gone fiddle-dee-dee. I forgot about that time I had world exclusive leak footage from the most anticipated game in the world. I forgot I was on my phone. So straight away, that is a surprising sentiment. That why hasn't this emerged earlier? It just feels a bit plausible, right? Then footage is from over 4 years ago. Well, okay, would make sense. That's when we saw the big leak going back to 2022.
There's your little sprinkling of what could be a truth.
Yeah, but again, that's the truthiness, isn't it? That's where you try and put a bit of grit in the salad to make it feel a bit more realistic. Recorded straight from a dev setup during lockdown. Now, look, there's some plausibility in that we were all forced to work remotely during, 2020, 21? And you know, and it went onwards, right? So in Rockstar, I've since really clamped down on their remote working practices and called everyone back to the office. And it could be because of risks like this. I think it is true that people in real life do have friends. People do share. They do say, "Look, you can't tell anyone, but look at this."
Can't tell anyone, but here's a secret bit of footage that if the 2022 leaks hadn't happened, would be the only bit of in-game footage we've ever seen.
Yeah. So it's like there's a lot going on, even within the first two lines, right? Now, and again, the know a bloke who used to work at Rockstar. Sure, you could know a bloke who used to work at Rockstar. Again, very plausible. They sent me this about 2 months before the 2022 leaks happened. So again, like, yeah, just sat on it and put it on your phone for what? To watch yourself in bed.
To show your friends down the pub.
I guess so. Fine. They sent me this 2 months before the 22 leaks happened. Been sat on it for ages, but since they don't work anymore, I assume that, you know, the alleged former employee figured I'd drop it. I don't know why. TBH, it literally shows nothing. Now that's the classic, you know, I'm not trying to claim this is big, but I am doing it anyway. I'm trying to diffuse it. No big deal. Don't accuse me of this being nothing because I've said it's nothing. TBH, no big. It literally shows nothing. Just ask them to show me a spot they were proud of working on. Mate, yeah, like it's a bridge. Like yeah.
And look, it's a nice bridge.
It is
like
nice.
If we're treating this as, you know, we're pretending for a second that this is real. Nice bridge. Not especially great water going on.
Mm.
Like if I was working on GTA 6 and someone had gone and I was going to show them something that I was proud of working on, I maybe wouldn't choose this bridge. And I'm sure it took a lot of work from whoever did work on that bridge.
I couldn't design a bridge in a video game.
But you know, there's probably something. And you could go down the road of going, if I just show them the bridge, it's quite nondescript. It doesn't actually give away a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Even if the event, you know, if I'm doing this in the real world, even if they leak it, it's not actually giving away too much, except that it's set in Vice City, which would have at the time been quite big news.
Yeah, true. I think that's true. And then he goes on to say, quality is absolute shite, though. Now, the only thing I would say that gives it an air of authenticity here is the use of the word shite, because it almost suggests, it's a very Scottish turn of phrase, right?
Yeah.
And you would go, oh my God, I'm going to do an accent that was about to get me in trouble. You know, shite is quite a Scottish turn of phrase. It will make sense for someone who maybe knew someone at North who was Scottish to have used that phrase. It's certainly more of a UK-centric phrase, right?
Yes.
Quasi-plausible again. But this is where it gets really a bit bendy. So, because they sent it via email, had to compress it. Never thought I'd actually post it because it's a nothing burger. Now, this the entire thing of like, sent it via email via compression.
I mean, you're sending via email, sure, it's going to get compressed.
Yes.
But that implies that they have, as it says, captured it from their home setup when they're working from home. So they have used what I imagine is a Rockstar managed PC to send an email to somebody external with a video attachment. Yes. I assume saying something like, here's a bit of the game I was proud of. Or like, you know, it doesn't feel like it's been hidden that well. And therefore, if that had happened, I think it might have raised a few flags on Rockstar's side of going, why is this machine sending an email to this random Gmail account that it's never sent a message to before?
And I guess it is possible to play the optimistic case on this. Like, I think what this is saying is the developer who was working at home during lockdown, the dev setup, used their phone to take a video off a screen. Is that right?
Well, I think this is captured directly from the machine.
Yeah, in which case, that's less plausible. But if it was completely offline and shot off of, say, a TV or a monitor, you could send it on a phone via your personal Gmail, as long as it wasn't a work phone that was being tracked.
Yes.
It's a thing that could happen.
Yeah, but this is what for all intents and purposes, looks like a screen recording, like the 2022 leaked footage that was getting shared via Slack.
Yes. And it could also be, because the way the borders on the Instagram clip is bordered, you could eliminate wobble a bit, right, by top and tailing it, or like clipping out the living room. Do you think that's possible?
Sure.
Stretching.
Right?
I mean,
I'm very, to be clear, very much in the camp that I don't think this is a real thing.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
We have to investigate all the possibilities.
And it is sometimes the case that, things that, this is why TV shows like The Traitors exist. People tell the truth and get accused of being liars because people like us overanalyze things and think themselves into holes. But it's still a bit whiffy as a statement, right? There's a lot of things that feel like a thing you would say were you trying to make it look plausible. It's a chain of events that maybe, but it's not sure about.
And I think this is why there's like a bit of a debate currently online about is it or isn't it? Like the truck that drives across it is a Pisswasser truck, which is from GTA 5.
Yes.
But we know that Rockstar use old assets in their new game development just to like check that things work before they all get upgraded. So that's not a huge red flag. Just the fact that that is in there, I think that's, easily replaceable. There's been some investigations on like the GTA forums. So Sako 505 is very much in the fake camp. And they're one of the people that have worked on the mapping project as well.
Yeah.
So they say that the small islands are in the wrong place. The camera is in the wrong location. What they're talking about there is all of the stats and stuff at the bottom that is like ticking up as the camera moves.
Yes.
Isn't tracking correctly when put against the footage from the 2022 leaks. Like the coordinates don't line up. We shouldn't be able to see the house on the left. The skyscraper we see top left is the wrong one. The bridge textures are different to the ones we saw in the leaks. The cars in the background are driving at over 200 miles an hour across the bridge. Now that is quite a big, I don't know why that would be happening.
It's just a Pagani Zonda in nitro mode.
Sure, yeah. Run the game in super fast mode.
Yeah.
For no reason, especially when you want to show the clip off to your mate.
Yeah.
They're not Rockstar clouds.
What does Rockstar clouds mean?
Well, they don't look like the clouds that Rockstar make. They're not as good.
Okay. Yeah.
There's volumetric cloud tech that they use in Red Dead.
Yeah, no, I've seen some good stuff they do.
Isn't implemented here.
Yes.
And they've messed up the FOVs in the TYE debug. It is meant to display HFOV, but shows VFOV, which makes my drawing of the cone even narrower. They did put an image up on GTA forums showing the field of view. Yeah. But with those...
And that's FOV, isn't it?
Yes. With
What's
those
the difference
between
HFOV and V? Is that horizontal and vertical?
Oh, yes. Let's say that.
Oh, right, let's say that. I don't know.
But I assume yes. And obviously that gives you a field of view. But with those numbers being the wrong way round, it makes the field of view even narrower, which would make it too narrow for this footage to exist with that camera angle. So there's a lot of things here that I think probably say, let's say that this is not real. If you want to play devil's advocate, there is like Spider Vice on the GTA forums that said, I continue to be on Team Legitimate because despite the fact the mapping crew has been doing an amazing job, people are putting too much stock on a map that will undoubtedly have had some changes from here to launch. It doesn't have the telltale signs of AI, and it doesn't look like the UE5 stuff people have made before either.
Yeah, yeah.
All of that, true. But also, all of the fact that it isn't real is also true, I think. Game Roll on X has also had a big, long post about it because this has started to be picked up by like Insider Gaming on Instagram and Kotaku, who have said, hey, look at this new leak. But they have basically either read or are backing up what is also posted on the GTA forums, that the bridge in the background literally doesn't exist in the game. We've seen that location a few times in both trailers and it's wrong. it's also very convenient that the clip just so happens to be in a location that we have tons of information on already, suggesting that everything that we've already got, the leaks, the screenshots, has been fed to a AI learning model and then asked to generate like this kind of thing, which feels plausible. I think the biggest problem with all of this, which we'll probably see more of as we lead up to release, is if AI didn't exist in the way that it currently does, we would look at this and say that's pretty legitimate. Like, based on, we've already seen things that look like this from 2022, which we know have come out of the studio. And this is a new one, reportedly from around the same time, and looks, very similar. But with the current freight train that is AI getting better and better, it just becomes easier and easier to put these kind of things together and make them look even more convincing. Like, I've flip-flopped on this a little bit. I'm now, I think, in the camp of it not being real, but I can see the arguments for people saying, wait a minute, maybe it is.
Yeah, and I think the thing we can't lose sight of is, even if it was real, as the poster says, it's a nothing burger.
Sure.
It's a really fuzzy lowest bridge of a thing that we don't actually think looks that way anymore anyway, if we believe the mapping project. And again, the mapping projects have a really good track record. They have done the groundwork, but it doesn't mean that they also can't be wrong on certain things, particularly where they have blind spots. So, yeah, like I don't think it's this. Like, something I'd written about in the newsletter last week was stories did the rounds on Rockstar using canary traps of fake information. I don't know if you saw that. And actually, that wasn't really what they said. It was, again, everyone's desperate for news and spinning things. So there was some online conversation where someone says, do Rockstar post up fake information? Mm-hmm. And that guy, Reese Kiwi Talks Riley, who does a lot of dev interviews, does good dev interviews, and just said 100% they do that. It says Reese Kiwi Talks Riley, right? Like, no one else is standing that up. I've never heard of Rockstar doing that. Like, we've literally worked with Rockstar for 20 years. Like, maybe they're not openly going to say to me, oh, and by the way, Dan, we put false information out there to entrap people.
Here's a load of information for you. Don't tell anyone. And then 2 months later, ha!
That's why all those guys came around my house. But I don't remember them, like, obviously they're not going to explicitly say that, but I don't even remember a report of Rockstar dinging someone with false information in order to find them. Like, it feels more like they've, like, has happened recently-ish, like they got rid of someone from the Lincoln QA office from what sounds like a real leak. So maybe it could be a new strategy, whatever. Either way, I don't think this is that. I don't think it's Rockstar deliberately putting out, but I just thought it was interesting sidebar. As I say, if I was forced, I don't think this is true. I don't think. If it is, we've learned nothing.
Yes. And the fact that it's still online, well, right now, as of we are recording this episode, it's still online, I think suggests even more that it's not real. But then, the flip side of that, something causing like this much debate would probably get taken down anyway by Rockstar, because they don't want it to, like, even if it's close, to be out there and people talking about it and it be, online for people just to freely look at, which is what we saw with some of the other, things that were clearly made in Unreal 5 or with AI, that they all get pinged for take it down, because effectively it is their IP. Like, you are using material that they own to make a different video. So I can see them having a legitimate argument to get this taken down from the internet. And especially now with more and more people reporting on it, it's only going to draw attention to it. And I think at some point Rockstar or Take-Two will come along and wave the ban hammer.
Ban hammer. That's almost like a Miami Vice reference.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
Ban hammer.
Wave the old ban hammer.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Well, I'll go and clear my phone out and find some Witcher 4 gameplay, and we'll start a new podcast. All right, let's talk about a game that isn't GTA 6. What? I hear you ask. Yep, great.
Didn't have a chance to. I was about to ask.
Okay, let's talk about a game that isn't GTA 6. What? I hear you say.
Let's talk about a game that is. Oh, I can't do this. Let's just keep rolling.
Anyway, this is Wolverine, which is coming out for PlayStation 5. It now has a release date set for September, moving it well away from the currently expected release date of GTA 6. This is the news that last week Insomniac Games have revealed the release date for Marvel's Wolverine, coming September 15th, 2026. In a social post, they've said, let's cut to the chase. Marvel's Wolverine launches September 15th, 2026. Now, we know that Wolverine is coming exclusively to PlayStation 5. And if you really wanted to read into this, you could suggest that this further cements that GTA 6's release date of November 19th is getting more and more locked down, with Sony and Insomniac wanting to avoid it for their big AAA game and having to pick a date that is nowhere near November.
For sure. And I mean, to be fair, this is exactly what we saw last year, where everyone vacated what was then the release date of GTA 6 because of the same fear. We're going to have it again this year. But I mean, obviously, everyone hopes this time it's real. So, September is probably not when you would traditionally launch a major AAA. You would go October, November. That's usually the peak time.
Like the last Spider-Man was October.
Yeah.
Feels a bit close to November, doesn't it? That's the only problem this year.
It's in the tail end of the year. October, it always tricks you, but it's the 10th month. You get into the final quarter. It makes a lot of sense. So it's slightly earlier than you might expect, but I agree. I think it's literally for that reason. I think it's a major blockbuster, more of a, Sony's titles tend to be more single player, story focused. No one wants to be near GTA.
Do you think there's any suggestion here that there is back-end communications going between studios saying, we really want to release this, big AAA. How legitimate is your November release date because we want to get it out there? Or are people just operating in silos and going, we haven't talked to them, but they've said November, so let's just avoid it?
I think people talk. I think studios and marketing people 100% talk. I remember covering this same conversation this time last year and talking to people like Chris Dring at the Game Business and various other B2B newsletters. And they were all everyone was asking each other what they thought about the GTA release date. And the answer seemed to be, nobody knows.
Yeah.
But there's always, some people like to go to act like a vizier or a wizard, or sort of hint at knowing something that isn't true. I literally spoke to people like that.
Yeah.
Clearly,
me every week.
Clearly bullshit. Yeah, exactly.
113 episodes.
Oh, cancel the episode while I laugh too much. Yes, that's it. And people talk, but it doesn't mean they know. And I think that's possibly what's happening now, is in people, they know what they've been told publicly. They know what they see in the investor calls. Everyone believes it's true. But do I believe it's by the way, Jeff, who works in Sony's, whatever division, said this is 100% lock. We must move away. It's 100% lock until it isn't, like it was last year. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the release date is controlled by Rockstar and Take-Two. And in their as we've talked about previously, they can delay. It could be, they're probably running out of time to delay, but by the next earnings call, feels like the final gate almost, where if we get everything's on track in the May earnings call, it does really feel like we're on the running. But, no one knows until it's 100%, right? So, I believe they're talking, but I don't believe anyone outside of Rockstar or Take-Two definitively knows. And I think as a result, in the sort of prisoners, the prisoner's dilemma gameplay of it, you just don't take the risk. You just can't go, well, on the off chance, we're going to slide into November. Yeah, no chance.
The interesting thing here, another interesting thing is that you can't pre-order Wolverine yet. It's a big, huge, in fact, Sony first-party title, which is, as of now, about 6 months from release, which is when we would expect GTA 6 pre-orders to start materializing, although there's a bit more on that in a few minutes.
That's foreshadowing.
And Wolverine has only released two trailers, one reveal trailer as their first CGI-based reveal trailer, and then one gameplay trailer about 5 months ago. And that is it. Which does, mirror the current GTA 6 trailer drops. So it'd be an interesting one to track to see how this progresses over the next 6 months in terms of marketing beats of Sony's big flagship title this year, and where they start to drop material and start to ramp up the marketing push. And it might give us some indications of where we are going for GTA 6. As you say, with the moving of release dates, all of this happened last year. We saw it last year. Other studios want to avoid GTA 6. So the current 2026 release schedule, bearing in mind we're in March already, 3 months into the year.
Wild.
Like September, October, November, and December have almost nothing in them in terms of confirmed release dates. September has now Wolverine and Phantom Blade Zero, another quite big game that's coming out this year. And that is it. And then the last 4 months of the year are barren. There's quite a lot of other big hitters with no current dates other than 2026. Things like Control Resonant from Remedy, Fable from Xbox, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. I don't think that's coming out this year, but okay. Onimusha Way of the Sword probably is coming out this year, almost certainly is. Silent Hill Townfall, just saw it at Sony's recent state of play, still just 2026. The Blood of Dawnwalker from the ex-Witcher devs, huge open world fantasy game. Wouldn't want to drop that around November time. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, Zero Parades. So there's, 5 or 6 things there that need to find a home. And as we're already in, as I say, the 3rd month of the year, September is as close as you'd probably want to get. Are all of those games going to come out before September? Maybe. And maybe it's a great start to the year if they all do, because they're going to be have lots of stuff to play. I mean, Fable isn't coming out before September. That's unheard of. I mean, is that coming out in 2026?
It feels like in all of these games are sort of playing by, as big as they are, they're playing by different rules than GTA. With GTA of all of the game, well, GTA, just says we're going there, everyone get out of the way.
Yeah.
It's also the game that probably is going to benefit the most from having physical copies, like appearing in supermarkets and Walmarts and stores, where I don't think, with the greatest respect, like Silent Hill Townfall has to worry so much about his physical box strategy, right? And I think so as a result, you can pin down release dates a bit later because there's less of a logistical long tail in terms of the physical copy. So they can just, I think, to a certain point, keep their dice clean, right? And then at the last minute when they go, okay, GTA's definitely happening. Wolverine's picked September.
Yeah.
Where do we fit into the market? Boosh. And I guess in the dream world, all horror games want to launch around Halloween.
Yeah.
But,
very end of October is not a good time.
3 weeks, it's getting a little bit close to GTA, maybe not. So I use maybe a lot.
Depends on how long your game is, I guess. If it's 10 hours, that's fine. It's a weekend.
Yeah, and I think realistically, Silent Hill Townfall is unlikely to take you 3 weeks to finish.
And as you mentioned, a great bit of foreshadowing just then. We are going to talk about, could pre-orders be closer than we think? So this comes because there have been some new game IDs added to the PlayStation Store, which could indicate Rockstar are preparing the SKU, which is the game, for purchase or for pre-purchase, I guess. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get pre-orders soon, because these store pages have to be localized, go through a whole load of different approval steps, etc., etc. But the new IDs added on March 1st were PPSA 01547_00 and PPSA 29660_00. These title IDs are a unique code that are assigned to each game on PlayStation, and their appearance in the system will often be a precursor to pre-order sales or other changes on the game store pages.
Yeah.
The first question then is, why does GTA 6 need 2 IDs?
Answer, I don't know. If you're asking me on the fly, I would say, is GTA 6, do they have a unique ID code for digital and for physical, or for bundle and for something? And or is it related to GTA Online as a separate product? Don't know.
All good topics to talk about, and all have currently been speculated upon that it was the difference between the digital and physical edition. Are they splitting the base game and the online component? There's been some clarity offered by a developer on social media, goes by the name of Brock, said, as a dev releasing games on PS5, the first one was created early in the PS5 lifecycle, while the other one was created recently. Not sure why they need 2, unless separate region builds, which are no longer required. Someone replied to ask about 01547 in particular.
Yeah.
Said, yes, especially since GTA 5 is PPSA 01721_00. So there's a possibility that Rockstar reserved 1547 from the start. And Brock said, that seems very likely. Even my first PS5 title from August 2022 is PPSA 06665_00. So that seems very early. I suspect the more recent code is simply for another region, older one for US, more recent one for Europe, for example. Despite this not being a requirement anymore for new titles, the old code was reserved so early that they're probably required to handle regions separately anyway. So the question here is, well, I guess, why reserve that number in particular? Is there anything special about PPSA 01547_00? And then, as you mentioned, if they are different regions, I think you had a little gander over what the codes at the end mean. And 00 is the US region code on the PlayStation Store.
Correct. So, like, my first question was really, I'm no expert on PS product ID registration, of course, right? And like there's a very limited number of people in the world who are, right? Devs will have some idea. There'll be people at Sony who do this for a living.
Yeah.
But you can basically find out. So the PS ID is like basically their product code. It's unique to every single game. And there are a series of like standardized codes that repeat. So for example, PS4 retail games used to begin with the CUSA code. But we do know that PPSE is the PS5 native code. And then there's also within that, the numbers. There's a unique 5-digit identifier, which we've talked about. And then we also talk about the region code. So we have for 00 USA, 01 Europe, 02 Asia, which would suggest that these codes are US codes. So they end -00. So like certainly the PPSA, yes, real. That's what all PS5 games have. 00 USA, product ID. It checks out basically. Like this is the correct formatting for this. Now, as to why there was a version reserved so much earlier, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No. Or then why there are 2 that end 00 if they are both US ID codes. Unless they've just updated, as it says, you can have a different code assigned when you're just changing things to the store page, updating things. It could be that it's just they're going to sunset the old code and just move everything over to the new code. And something like that is happening. But what it does, I think, suggest is that there is something happening on the PlayStation Store backend to do with GTA 6 in terms of updates or a new edition of the page or something. Something is changing that is significant enough to change that ID, or at least create a new ID.
Yes. So to go back to the first point, like probably my best guess is yes, one code is for the core game, single player and online. One might be online only. If I was forced to guess, right? Because there's historic precedent for that. We talked about it a lot on the show. Why are they, why is the agitation now? Are they prepping for example, pre-orders? Well, maybe. Does it align with our previous timeline? Don't know. But you did a bit of digging and found out when the IDs were added for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes. And this will either excite you or quash your excitement.
Yeah.
So the Red Dead Redemption 2 title IDs were added 15 days before pre-orders went live. Sound the alarm.
Well, oh yeah. Ding, ding,
Ding,
ding,
ding,
ding. Oh, I've
ding.
rung the bell. I've rung the bell, not saying the alarm.
Oh,
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So if you
That's the
really
alarm.
want to sound the hype alarm, and you're going with historical evidence that Red Dead 2's title
Yeah.
IDs were added 15 days before pre-orders, that would mean that potentially within the next 15 days, GTA 6 pre-orders are going to go live. Now, the dates for that, if we really want to keep going down this rabbit hole, I can only really see March the 10th or March the 17th as the best option in the next 15 days. Those are both Tuesdays. We know Rockstar enjoys a Tuesday. Tuesday makes sense as well. It's the beginning of the week that isn't Monday. It gives you a lot of time for those pre-orders to stack up over the course of that week, for them to see a lovely chart go up while in Rockstar and Take-Two HQ, where they look at it and be like, "Oh, look at the lovely graph go up." I think both of those dates are fine. They don't, as far as I know, mean anything significant for any parties involved here. They would just be some dates. The flip side of this is that for Red Dead 2, Rockstar announced pre-orders, including the special edition and ultimate editions, on June the 4th. And then the game actually came out October the 26th. So there was a 4-month gap there between pre-orders going live and the game coming out. So to launch pre-orders for GTA 6 now, given the November release date, still feels a bit early. Now, as we've said, the updates to the store page can happen whenever and doesn't necessarily mean things are like imminent.
Of course.
It could be that they're just prepping for 2 months' time and then it's all ready to go. Just hit the button, pre-orders are up. I unfortunately don't believe that in the next 15 days pre-orders are going to go live. I don't know if we differ in opinion on that, but I'm going to lean towards we don't.
I mean, it's just a very long time before launch.
Yeah.
It's what, almost 7 months?
Yeah.
Which
8,
is
7, yeah.
Is quite long. And Red Dead Redemption was 4 months. Reasons to do it early. We've been waiting for ages and people need something.
It's some news.
That's not a very legitimate reason. More legitimate maybe is they want positive, certifiable data going into the next earnings call that pre-orders are off the charts and, hey everyone, good news, pre-orders are at level X versus this, share price explodes, great, that's a good thing. But why do it now? Because honestly, they could do that a week before the earnings call, 2 days before the earnings call, and have like a really clear indication of, oh wow, this is popping off. So I think doing it 2 months even before the earnings call feels a bit needless. I'm struggling to think of like why now. Now, there is, again, GTA 5 pre-orders were announced actually almost 8 months or more before the game, but only because GTA 5 ended up being delayed.
Yes.
So at the time they announced, they announced GTA 5 pre-orders in November 2012 when they believed the game was heading for spring.
Yeah.
Now, spring, as we said, the latest spring could be is probably like May the 31st.
But that's
which is
4
almost
months,
summer,
right?
Yeah, that would be like 5-6 months, right? That's if you literally launched on the physically last day of spring.
Yeah.
Now, it could be as little as 4 months, that sort of window. So even then, and that was with the game getting delayed. So 7 months just feels really early. The only thing I would say is with all of this campaign, with everything to do with GTA 6, normal rules don't apply. It's almost become depending on how closely you track the wider games industry, there's a huge existential panic about all AAA games right now and their success and the nature of the market and blah, blah, blah. Maybe there's something to say that GTA 6 is going out strong and hard to go. Games are back, AAA is back, GTA 6 is back, pour the pina coladas, let's go. And we're reporting the biggest pre-order numbers ever seen in any video game ever, is the theory.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't buy it, though. It just feels a bit early. And I think it's much more likely, like we've talked about, is when they've talked about the red meat marketing campaign, things getting going in summer. Maybe the earliest of that would be around about the next earnings call, more assets, new trailer, pre-orders begin. That feels more plausible for me. I don't know how you think.
Yeah, no, I think all of that lines up just before the next call or just after. Is
could be just
we'll
after.
be in the right timeline window then for this kind of thing to happen. What will happen, though, I think, when they do release the pre-orders is we'll very likely get details about all of the different editions at the same time. So when the Red Dead Redemption 2's pre-orders went live, they also announced the Special Edition and the Ultimate Edition at the same time, along with all the pre-order bonuses for all three versions and the unique assemblage of real-world collectibles inspired by the game. So you got the Standard Edition digital pre-order where you got 500,000 GTA dollars, because obviously you couldn't get in-game Red Dead equivalent money, so they just gave you GTA dollars. You got the Red Dead Redemption 2 Special Edition, which got you 1 million GTA dollars, and the Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate Edition, which got you 2 million GTA dollars, along with all of the other goodies like the playing cards and the pins and the collector's box and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like, as we've discussed before, it will be similar for when GTA 6 pre-orders get announced. There will be the Standard Edition. You will almost certainly get some GTA dollars back for doing that. Special Edition and the Ultimate Edition. Ultimate Edition will be the all singing, all dancing, inflatable crocodile, sunglasses, Miami Vice PD police badge, digital map, physical map, trips to Miami, all of that kind of stuff will be in that Ultimate Edition. And it will give you a kickback, I imagine, of GTA dollars that you can then use in the interim, in the build up to GTA 6, in the current version of GTA Online.
Yeah, and I think just before we close out, I wanted to throw in one final nerdy thought. We also, as we were studying, like during our call now, I've been looking at the PPSA number we've got from the things. Now, normally those PPSA numbers appear on the PlayStation Store product page and the URL. So we checked the current GTA 6 URL. This is the worst kind of content. If you're listening on a podcast, I apologize. This is the worst kind of content.
Have some numbers.
Yeah. So basically, like at the moment, the GTA 6 product page is store.playstation.com, en-US or US /concept 100000730. That's not the same, right, as the current PPSA we've got. But on games that you can actually buy, and I'm just picking on a game here, and this is the game I always pick on, Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
What a surprise you went for that one.
It's like I'm on a kickback, right? Now, that's literally a different URL. So that's store.playstation.com /en/US. So far the same. But then it's /product, not /concept. And then it's JP9000- PPSA 02015-00. So it's correct. So like the PPSA number does appear within a product page. Mm-hmm. It's just not appearing in the same way on whatever they call this concept page. So they are different, I don't know, like itemology or whatever the right word is. That's so nerdy. I apologize to everyone listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything, but it does show that, maybe this is the path it takes. It's just the page we've got right now is a different type of thing.
Yes, because, and enjoy this, listeners, if you follow the rabbit hole that we've already talked about and look at Marvel's Wolverine, that also has PlayStation.com/ENGB or US/concept
there we go.
/10002861, indicating that because pre-orders aren't live yet, it is going to the concept page where you can just wish list your interest in the game rather than pre-order the game, which then it probably becomes a product because that's the one that you can actually click on and buy.
Yeah, so it reveals something about Sony's hierarchy of pre-ordering and the numeric structure. Tune in next week for more exciting chat, GTA 6 o'clock. That's why people are here, right? You want to dig into these details.
Yeah, PlayStation says GTA 6 is currently just a concept.
Yeah, and so it's worth it's good detail, and I think it adds to the plausibility of this. Where I'm struggling, like you, is it just feels a bit early.
Yes, well, let us know what you think about those things in the comments if you are listening or watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you. Give us 5 stars. Leave a review on whichever platform you're listening on, or pop over to the comments on YouTube and let us know what you think. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at GTAVOclock or via email at gtavio'clock.com. You can also sign up for the newsletter, gamesradar.com/newsletter. Click on the GTA 6 button. You will get a fresh newsletter delivered to your inbox every Friday, summarizing things that we've talked about in this show and anything else new that has dropped over the course of the week since recording.
Quite correct. And if anyone's having any problem signing up to the newsletter, let us know in the YouTube comments, because I found it hard to sign up last week. So because I've got no other outlet to be contacted for the newsletter, do let me know either in the YouTube comments or on our X account, which I think is at GTAVOclock.
It is.
Because it's from the olden days when we used to do GTA 5. Get in touch there. But do let us know. And as ever, thanks for your support.
A lot of people, when you asked for that call out a couple of weeks ago, said, I read the newsletter in the comments. So there's a lot of nice feedback in there.
Oh, well, that's good.
People just comment in newsletter. So feedback.
Thank you,
The
everybody.
feedback loop is complete. But
Thank
please
you.
carry on doing that.
And now I'm asking you to do my UX debugging work for me. So thank you.
Fine. Next week, the things are going to be slightly different because I am going on a secret mission to America. Unfortunately, not Florida. So it'll be Dan next week steering the ship. So have fun listening to that. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we will be back next week at 6 o'clock for another episode of GTA 6 o'clock.